You've been feeling yourself all day. This is new information. And when you're willing to look at your feelings and not judge them, like, no, I'm really feeling that there's something wrong with this relationship, or something wrong with Ted, or something wrong with this, or I'm really feeling like if I play the lottery right now, I was kidding. I wouldn't suggest playing your psychic awareness with the lottery.
Good morning, my friend, and welcome now to Thursday. Well, the time has come to decide to believe in yourself or not believe in yourself. I'll have the 3 questions to ask in today's Megascope. But first, keep streaming for your Thursday Namaste Today. Welcome to Namaste Today, a calm and soothing way to start each day. I'm your host and spiritual life coach, Sensei Chris Witecki. I work in the modality of psychic astrology, and I'm on a personal mission of love and light to help raise the vibration on Earth. Thank you for joining me today. Namaste. Well, it is now Thursday, my friend, and with the moon crossing over Saturn, it's time to decide if you believe in yourself or if you do not believe in yourself. This is an important step in creation that I call Step 3. And in your Megascope today, I'll give you 3 steps to make sure you're ready to make that step. But first, let's take a look at today's Zodiac weather. This Zodiac weather is for Thursday, September 8, 2016. Looking ahead at the 5-day moodcast. Tomorrow is going to be sunny, but I think we'll all be very serious. Saturday, you're sunny, large, and in charge. And Sunday is going to be quiet, and you'll be manifesting. But today, I'm predicting sunny and optimistic. Today, you decide if you believe or not believe. Now, the Gray Human Walk has reached Step 16, Virgo. That means the ruling channel today is Channel 7, I Sense. And that means the ruling planet today is Neptune. Now, our emotional focus is now learning and seeking to commit. The moon is in Act 2 of Sagittarius today. And our mental focus is recreating or rewriting our plans. Mercury is retrograde at Step 24. So the real question today as the moon crosses Saturn is to believe or not to believe. I'll help you with that question in your Megascope. But first, steep yourself some tea, and let's have our daily tea time. Hello, my friend, and welcome to our tea time. Today's tea time is a little bit of Christmas in September. Got my Christmas mug out today. And the topic is modern nutrition. And this is just in case you have a very busy life and you're not up on all the facts. As a person who's here to help the earth, I do read everything I can about nutrition and about food and about what's going on. And honestly, I still don't know enough, but I do take the time and effort to know so I can pass it on to you. And in the last year alone, some major findings have come out that we simply can no longer ignore. The first one is alcohol causes cancer. All right, this came out in a study. Google search it yourself, but there is a high rate of increasing your chances of cancer if you drink alcohol. Now, we've been drinking alcohol for centuries. There's an industry that's trying to prevent us from stopping this habit of ours. But really, if you look back in human history and even in your own life, you know, alcohol only does one thing. It knocks you out and shuts you off, and not much else happens after that. So myself, I have been phasing out alcohol, and I have to say, honestly, it's not easy. Being a Taurus and liking red wine, being accustomed to disconnecting when I want to, when I go out and stuff like that. All these things are very difficult to transition out of our life. So I completely understand if you're a person who likes to drink. I will just give you this tidbit that most of what's giving people cancer and alcohol are the additives that come from the manufacturing process. So if you are going to be a drinker, you really should spend the money on the highest top shelf and the most filtered alcohol so you can at least extend the length of your life. Now, maybe you already know this or not know this, but I just thought as a Sensei to Serious Joy I should say this. Now, here's another shocker that came out this year. Meat and processed meats, such as hot dogs, cold cuts, anything that's been processed causes cancer. In fact, there is a huge link between bacon and colon cancer. So all those unfortunate men who have gotten colon cancer, how much bacon had they eaten in their life? All right, and this has to do with the way we cure the meats and whatnot. But I have to say, spiritually, I know we're not meant to eat animals. Again, I was raised, a carnivore. I've been eating meat my whole life. I've been phasing it out to just fish, and I have my own personal reasons for that. Mostly because fish is wild and swims in the open seas. It's a completely different scenario. But we can get our protein from grains and other sources. We're really not meant to get it from animals. But even if you don't even want to go into that whole argument, it causes cancer. Of course, the Meat Council did not like this when this study came out. But really, it's Europe, I think, that's forging a lot of these studies because Europe is interested in the truth. So alcohol and meat cause cancer. Now, obviously, cigarettes and nicotine causes cancer as well. This is also a negative for your body. I have smoked in my past, and I have loved it because it's deep breathing and all sorts of things. But I want to tell you what I've observed from having been on cigarettes and gotten off of cigarettes, and that is that it keeps you in a circular thinking. I'm very, very aware of my thoughts and how things work, and I think something happens with nicotine that keeps the neural pathways never changing, and so I think people stay stuck in ruts. And if you have people who are struggling with smoking out there, you might talk them into just giving it up for a month and telling them they can go back to it later. Really, because if you can just get past that, now of course it's not good for your lungs, of course it's a carcinogen, and I have to say, for the record, that I think all of this vaping is not going to be good for us either, because frankly, there's nothing in the earth where human beings are being forced naturally to inhale steam. Okay, like unless you're an Eskimo or you live by a volcano, and in those cases, maybe you've adapted, your lungs have adapted. So that's an obvious, but it just has to be seen. Now, here's one you might not have considered: dairy. I've done a lot of research on dairy. I've done spiritual research on dairy. I know from a capitalistic perspective, dairy is a very evil industry. We were being talked into needing milk very young. I know that there's a lot of studies out there that show that milk actually decreases the calcium in your bones and decreases the strength of your bones, doesn't increase it. But mostly what convinced me about dairy was when I worked with the angels. In fact, the angels refused to work with me until I had eliminated dairy out of my diet for 6 weeks. This is when I worked with an angel reader. I asked the angels why this was, and the angels explained to me that basically milk is a life force, just like blood is a life force. In fact, you may not know this, but every drop of milk was a drop of blood before. The body turns blood into milk. So there is a spiritual energy that is meant to be for the child of the animal or human that makes the milk. The mother makes milk for the baby, the cow that makes the milk for the little baby cow, and from what I understand, spiritually and whatnot, we are not meant to go there. Now, I love cream in my tea, so I want to know, even though I know this is wrong, I still myself battle this. I use non-dairy creamer, I use coconut cream creamers now to have that creamy taste, and that's the thing. We got to find the taste and not hurt us. So I've been phasing out. I have to admit, I had pizza just a couple days ago. Total sin. One, I don't eat carbs very often, and two, I don't eat cheese unless I just can't go without it. So obviously, I wouldn't be able to work with the angels now for 6 weeks if I had eaten that cheese. The next thing I want to say has to do, of course, is with GMO. Okay. Non-GMO foods. I think it's spiritually, I get a strong warning that we should not be interfering with our food supply. I believe this is where the Atlanteans went wrong, is by interfering with food supply. And now we're starting to release GMO insects, which to me is extremely dangerous. So, you can make a difference by simply not just purchasing non-GMO products. Capitalism still works, folks. I know it's a little bit more expensive, but honestly, it will pay off And I'd love to hear what people have to say about this. And we can go into Monsanto and all the evil that's going on. But organic vegetables, non-GMO, is Sensei's opinion. And then the last thing I'll bring up is with marijuana. A lot of people have asked me about marijuana and what my thoughts are on marijuana. Well, I have a lot of thoughts on it. The truth of the matter is it's a weed that goes back to ancient colonial America. I have American Indian in me. I understand the nature of marijuana. I don't actually think that the Indians were smoking tobacco. I think they added a little tobacco for a kick, and they used tobacco for special ceremonies. But the Indians didn't smoke cigarettes. They did not smoke tobacco. What happened was the Europeans came, they liked that, and they took that. Of course, our forefathers are known to smoke hemp and whatnot. It has ridiculous medicinal properties. And when I read in the book Conversations with God, God literally said it was a gift He gave to the world, and it's horrible that there are powers keeping it from His children. So that is my quick little modern nutrition guide. I hope it helps you. If you don't do this research, I encourage you to do your own research. I encourage you to listen to your heart, listen to your instincts about what things tell you. And if something feels wrong, don't put it in your mouth. All right, friends, I'm going to now take a sip of my tea, and we're going to do what we call the Megascope. This is where I channel from my guides advice for you today. And today we're really talking about to believe or not believe. We're trying to get into our beliefs, so I'm going to ask Spirit what's to know about that. Okay, Spirit is very clear, actually. Today the moon is in Sagittarius, and Spirit's very clear. You know, this isn't really about, Spirit point out to me that this isn't really about believing or not believing, because your soul already believes. You already signed up for certain things. This is about whether or not you're going to be honest with yourself about what you believe. All right? Our hearts came wired with what we believe, and that's because our hearts came signed up for a particular manifestation adventure. That's why you believe it'll happen, because you signed up for it. Okay? So if you go on a Carnival cruise and you believe you're going to have swimming pools on the top deck, that's a fair belief, even though you can't find the swimming pool when you first get on the ship. Okay? So just because you don't have evidence doesn't mean it doesn't exist. Remember, creation is that we manifest and create, not that we discover what has been created by another. All right, that said, I have some clues to help you believe or not believe. These are just fundamental Sensei advice. First one, step one, are you free to choose what you believe? A lot of people are talking about what they believe, but they're actually trying to please their parents, trying to please their church, trying to please everybody else's belief subscriptions. So before you can even ask if you believe something, you have to ask, am I free to believe what I want to believe, or am I under some sort of spell or some other architecture of belief structure? Step two, does your heart believe it? And the way you ask is, you ask your heart, hey, does my heart in this? Do I believe this? You have to ask. It's a very personal question. If your heart's not in it, you don't believe it. Step three, do your feelings agree with the belief? So my heart's in it. Do I feel like this is legitimate? And the reason why you ask if you feel it's legitimate is because there are subtle nuances. Sometimes you feel a little off because you already believed this in a past life and it has past life issues. Sometimes your feelings feel off because your parents are going to hate it. Doesn't mean you don't believe it. And in that case, you have to work through those feelings. So if our emotions are not behind our beliefs, we can't create anything with them. Now, for those watched over and subscribers of my personal Sensei service, who I affectionately and lovingly call my serious joiners, today I'm going to talk about inner cheerleading. How to get yourself from feeling it to believing it. Okay, that's from step 2 to step 3. I've got some sound advice for you. And with the moon crossing Saturn today in your 3 o'clock eye candy, I will highlight and circle where it is you must decide what you believe and how you believe in the next 24. Now, if you're watching my show on YouTube, please be kind and do subscribe. I thank you here ahead of time. And if you'd like to follow me on Twitter, you can follow me at Siwateki. I put out several interesting posts through the day. And of course, I've invented what I call artificial intuition, the world's first intelligent astrology-based system that is turned into a text message service right now. Find out what it is. It's called Serious Joy. And my subscribers find that their life improves in the first 30 days. Give it a try. I've worked my whole life on this to help the world. If you haven't tried it, please do. All right, friend. Well, that's all I have for this 24-hour period, but I will be back with more interesting stories tomorrow. Until then, remember, I love you, and live, love, be.
So